that if God is judging everything that happens with everybody, I would find it hard to believe that God wouldn't sympathize with agony of suffering.
But he's giving you the trial, and that trial's yours.
Well, and of course, if Jesus suffered, then why shouldn't I? I get, on the other hand, but what's he? I mean, honestly, I can't imagine feeling myself suffocate to death slowly.
I know.
Anyway, so I feel bad for Roberta Flack, 85 years old, and she's got ALS. Well, I mean, geez.
Basically, what you do is you get you an endless ticket to skydive, and you say, let's do it again. Do it again.
At some point.
Do it again. Yeah, at some point, it ain't going to work. And you're out of your misery.
That's a little cold, but it's
but you're having a thrilling time.
You're having a wonderful, wonderful time.
And every time you parachute up, you go, damn! Damn it.
Well, you'd have to do it on your own. You don't want to go tandem because then you're taking the guy with you.
Seriously. Why are you steering us toward the high wires?
Oh, in fact, I just watched, again, the other day it was on and I DVR'd it, Enemy at the Gates.
Wow, what a great.
The sniper movie.
Oh, great
and
movie.
I'd forgotten the part where the girls, the star, the girl you like who's married to the guy, the dark.
Married to Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Rachel something.
Yeah, I was just watching a movie with her, the jury with.
Oh yeah. That was a great movie.
Hackman and
with
Cusack.
John Cusack or whatever, and Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
She was. What the hell's her name?
Rachel something.
Rachel Wise.
Rachel Wise.
Daniel Craig's wife.
And she found out that she wanted to go into combat because she found out her parents were killed by the Nazis. And she described how they did it. I don't remember this the first time I saw the movie 10 years ago, whatever. But she was telling the story. The way they did it was they would tie them together. They would tie. Are we back on? They would tie the two people together, rope them together on top of a bridge.
Yeah.
And then, in order to save bullets, they would shoot one, and then they would both tumble off into the water, and the second one would drown with a dead body. And I thought, oh my God, I'm getting chills thinking about how it was probably true. I mean, this is based on a true story, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't, the Nazis did a lot of bad things, but I don't know if of course they did it.
I mean,
of course
can you
they
imagine?
did that.
They shoot
hated
your
the
wife
Russians.
in front of you, and you're about to tumble into the river to drown with her dead body next to you. I mean, holy criminy. Anyway, I mean, just the cruelty.
Maybe, almost to the point where maybe your country should have made a deal with the devil and partitioned Poland because you took the east half while they took the west, and try and work with them as their allies against us. Maybe if you hadn't done that, you wouldn't have lost 20 million people. Yeah. And I would
Neville
maybe
Chamberlain over here
feel a little sorry for you, except your boss, Stalin, that you wouldn't kill.
We can work with Hitler. We can work something out if we let him take Poland, maybe a little Czechoslovakia. The man's not going to go.
Well, hell,
nuts.
they took the other half.
Yeah. Anyway, West Point cadets. Have you heard about this? A bunch of West Point cadets sued to not have to take the China kill virus vaccine. And under religious exemption clauses, and they lost, and so they got an email from West Point saying you have 12 hours to get the vaccine, or you are no longer a cadet at West Point.
Right. Goodbye.
One thing Donald Trump mentioned last night: if he's president, all those people who lost their jobs are getting their jobs back.
Yeah, well, he's got to hammer that.
Yeah.
All you police, fire,
that's
military.
The kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that may get people to say, it's about time we got back to common sense again. I mean, that's his only hope, is if he brings the common sense crowd to say that's the way it should have been.
Why is West Point doing this now? Because everyone's even finally coming out and saying this vaccine didn't do squat.
Right.
It was a lie. It was a scam from the very beginning. The people we were supposed to trust, the scientists and the doctors, either didn't know or they knew and they had an agenda and they were shoving because they're getting paid by big pharma. So why are they doing this now? It's no longer about medicine and science. This is all about political obedience.
Well, we knew Fauci and others have admitted the masks don't work and didn't work, and they knew it. And the Dr. Scarf Neck girl, Brixie or whatever her name was, she admitted
Burks.
She admitted that they knew the vaccines weren't going to be 90% effective.
Yeah, they don't work.
But
they don't work now.
Yeah. Anyway, so West Point is going to go ahead and anyway. I mean, I don't. The American military, to me, I wouldn't. If I had a 19-year-old kid and he wanted to join the Marines, I'd say I would think about this.
Pfizer and Moderna just came out and said, we're paying attention to this myocarditis, people between the age of 18 and 45 dropping in the prime of health. So we're gonna do a little study on this. And someone said, "Gee, weren't you supposed to do that before?"
Yeah. Well, everything. You learn. You experiment, you learn. Oh, sure, millions are going to die, but now, this is different.
This is the tip of the iceberg. This was the main reason I didn't take it, is the myocarditis, because it would kill me.
Yeah.
I've got two things wrong with my heart.
Yeah.
It would kill me. So I was like, okay, I could take this thing, and it may stop me from getting really bad sick, or I can take it and get this thing that will probably 90% chance of killing me.
Yeah. Well, again, and nobody knew, and they still don't know. I mean,
they know.
It wasn't but it wasn't.
This myocarditis thing is it's going to be horrendous.
I think that's a different story. A couple other things.
Yeah, they're still getting paid how much for this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did you see the video? Kids, man. In fact, a little bit later, I'm going to have a couple of weird crime things involving teenagers. Did you see the video in Texas of an 18-year-old kid who sneaked on top of a tractor trailer?
How did he do it when it was moving?
And he's up on top of the trailer part of the 18-wheeler. And he's taking videos dancing on top of the truck. An overpass is coming. He ducks under one or two overpasses. So just like in the James Bond movies, where you got to duck. Oh my God, it's seen like that. And it's just like in the movies, and he ducks under.
Tom
and
Cruise.
And then he turns around, and the next one hits him, and he's dead.
Wait a minute.
Fell off the truck, and he's dead.
Wile E. Coyote always got away with it.
And the video shows him dancing on the truck.
Yeah, idiot. All for this.
Yeah,
all to be
on
popular.
His social media phone, so the world could react to being special for your 15 minutes.
Watch out for that tree.
Oh, 18 years old.
George of the Jungle up there.
18 years old.
Wile E. Coyote got away with it 1,000 times.
Well, see, and he had an anvil strapped to his leg.
My favorite.
How many anvils?
When he had the giant rock thrower, the slingshot.
Oh, yeah. Like the old Palestinian Jesus days of the old boulder.
And it does 1,000 things wrong, and it won't fly. Finally, he jumps on top of it. He's jumping up and down on the rock. And it goes, wham!
That was the first. I think that was my first adult cartoon, was Roadrunner. Or maybe
Pink Panther was good, too.
Yeah, but Roadrunner to me was the one that really got me. Or, of course, this is my boy Sherman, the Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Fractured fairy tales. You stupid ant. Come here. Dean Martin.
Oh, go get another hat.
Oh, you stupid ant.
And all Rocky and Bullwinkle. Oh, God. All right, hold on. Coming up, Jimmy Fallon, R.I.P. Harvey Weinstein, here we go again. Oh, by the way, I'm going to gross you out with a description.
Oh, please don't.
And
did you see where he had an affair with Gavin Newsom's wife?
I was just going to say, guess who he was snorkeluculating? And I mean, that to me alone is enough. Well, anyway, we'll get to it. Also, Beret, no gay, on her TV shows. Disney with a drag show. The gender. Have you heard of a gender unicorn? You're about to. Also, the clue on Jeopardy, which has one family in tears and wondering when they're going to get an apology. All that's coming up here on the Kimmer Show podcast anytime now, by golly. And I put a video this morning teasing our Kimmer Show podcast with a picture of a shadow box and a certain couple of scorecards.
Speaking of boxing.
Yes.
We'll do that later.
Oh, sorry. But first, salute to FlagCo, flagco.com. Again, it was windy this morning. I got my flag out there, and it still looks brand new. Flagco.com is where I got my American flag and the pole and the attachment thing. And by the way, they have attachments for mounting your flag on a brick wall, which is like on your garage brick structure, columns and so forth, which a lot of people, nobody else can do. But they got a couple of very special things at flagco.com. And again, my flag still looks brand new. It's really bright and beautiful. Here we go. 3 things to, especially right now at flagco.com. Starry Night Flagpole Christmas Lights. If you have a 15 to 25-foot flagpole, or they can custom build one for you if you want, they have the flagpole Christmas lights in cool white, warm white, red, blue, multicolor sets. They have a mini version, including the 10-foot pole for your own starry night for the holidays and Christmas time, for help old Santa down the chimney or up the driveway or whatever. They also have a trailer hitch flagpole kit for single or double flags, which is really a great idea. And the third thing to make reference to, particularly right now, is a 20-foot telescopic pole with a wheelbase, which is perfect for tailgating. The base slides under the tire to weigh it down. When the game's over, it collapses into a little thing. Off you go, bing, bang, boom. Check it out, FlagCo.com. And don't forget, they're looking for warehouse workers. I think they still need 3 warehouse workers. So please check it out. Here's their phone number, flagco.com, 800-962-0956. And don't forget, it's not just American flags. Every state flag, every military flag, every country flag, all over the world, flags of nations. Also, if you're having an open house in a cul-de-sac and you want one of those, they call them bow and arrow flag banners, they do stuff like that too. I mean, they have mounting kits, they have decorative device, they have beacons in silver and gold and lighting kits. I mean, it's flagco.com and all the accessories, flags all over the world, and they're looking for people. If you need a job, they take care of you there too. Flagco.com on the web. Tell them the Kimmer sent you, and you'll be as happy as I am with my beautiful American flag and other flags as well. Now, I don't do a lot of Twitter. I've never been on Twitter. I look at Twitter once a day, or sometimes. But this caught my attention. Quote, owner and founder of Jimmy John's, Jimmy Fallon, has passed away last night. Your sacrifices will never be forgotten. And there's a picture of Jimmy Fallon, the comedian, and the release of Jimmy Fallon died. And Jimmy Fallon says, hey, Elon, can you fix this? Because guess what? People are reacting, oh my God, it's almost like he's still with us. R.I.P. Jimmy Fallon. Somebody else, I can't believe he died of ligma. I don't even know what that is. Rest in peace to one of the most talentless talk show hosts, Jimmy Fallon, the first victim of World War III, but the bravest soldier in the battlefront, yet the least funny. And then Jimmy Fallon says, Elon, can you fix this? Another one, performance so good it killed him days later. Seth Meyers, upon hearing that he will be the new host of The Tonight Show following the passing of Jimmy Fallon, and as Seth Meyers over his grave with a finger saying, I'm the winner now and stuff. I mean, it's just one after another. Emily, I can't believe you're gone. Fly high, Jimmy Fallon. Gone way too soon.
We should
He's
just
not
keep
dead.
doing it like he's dead. Just keep acting like he's dead.
I thought, here we go on Twitter. So anyway, R.I.P. Jimmy Fallon. Now, I'll try not to make this disgusting, but it's sort of disgusting. And again, I had forgotten this until I saw it again this morning. Harvey Weinstein is on trial again. He's already been convicted and in jail. He'll never get out of prison, but he's on trial again for more rapes, this time in California. Well, for one thing, the judge has dropped 4 counts, and the reason was that the prosecutors in their opening statements only mentioned 4 women, and there was another one who had 4 counts against him, but she's not part of the testimony anymore, so she must have changed her mind or something. So the judge dropped the counts that were against one of the so-called victims, who no longer is part of the case. But one of the victims of Harvey Weinstein is Jennifer Cybele Newsom, the wife of the California governor.
Yep.
His wife was one of Harvey Weinstein's victims, and this is the gross part. So for like 20 seconds, I'm going to describe what she said under oath. Okay, so this is real factual stuff, and I'm doing it to embarrass Harvey Weinstein forever and to shame the women who let him get away with it. The Me Too movement was very valuable for a short period of time, and then it became just a political nothing or other, and it also showed that a whole bunch of women over the years let him get away with it. Okay, now I'm describing what she said on the stand. This is Governor Newsom of California, his wife. She described the entertainment mogul's distorted fish-like genitals, lots of bruises, markings, yellow and green, lots of stretch marks on his belly, very not physically fit at all. She said he looked uncircumcised and strange, though, kind of fish-like. The sex organs, something was distorted in the testicles. Lots of skin down there. He raped her at a hotel in 2005. She said, I'm standing up and resisting. I'm in horror. It was horrible. I'm trembling. This is my worst nightmare. Now, again, quote, forgive me, I'm just this blow-up doll that he's just trying to masturbate off of. Harvey's pleaded not guilty, Rapestein, that it was all consensual. He's also been serving a 23-year sentence for a conviction in New York, and he faces charges in London. He also has 2 charges of indecent assault against him back in June. He was convicted of third-degree rape and criminal conduct, and is acquitted on 2 others. He tried to appeal and lost his conviction. So anyway, and again, that's just... the whole thing makes me sick. But again, he'll never get out of prison. So that's good. And I guess he's probably near death. I think he's probably not gonna last very long. Let's see. Oh, I showed you these beautiful things. You want to talk about Farmhouse for a second or anything? No. Okay.
Yes, of course we do. Of course we want to talk about Farmhouse. You don't even have to ask that question.
And again, you look like you were kind of just going on. I'm going to be contacting Eric because I got it, and I can't say much because Jennifer is probably watching my thing here, but she knows what I'm going to do. And I'm going to a couple of things for Dan, my son-in-law, from our golf outing. I'm going to do a little thing with that, and I'm going to do it at
FarmhousePrintingCo.com right here in Sonoria, Georgia. No minimum order. You want 1 T-shirt, you want 1 thank you note, whatever, they'll do it. 1,000, same. They don't care. It's the same price. Yeah. Well, actually, not the same price.
Well, it's almost the same.
Yeah, it's per.
Well, they're per price. Yeah.
It's all T-shirts, tumblers. They have laser engraving. Anything you want, they'll do. Eric and the gang down there are extremely, extremely friendly and will work with you whatever you need. All your printing needs, all of them.
And here's the other thing. For example, I don't know really what I want. So I'm going to talk to Eric and if you don't, in other words, I've got some pictures I want to put on something, but I don't know whether I want it on a T-shirt or a hat or a carry bag. I mean, in other words, I want some ideas of what would go by, and they do that too. I mean, and ask them, can you get a golf towel to do this? Can you get a hat for so and so? I mean, they'll work with you.
Golf towels, those are great ideas.
They're good people. FarmhousePrintingCo.com.
By the way, we got a new sponsor too.
We do.
It seems there's a new entrant in the cider business.
Oh, the cider business?
That's right. A little competition for Dickens Cider.
Dickens company?
Dickens Cider. That's such good stuff. It's a new company that's got their own, and it's the Carmenin Beverage Group.
Carmenin?
Carmenin. Yeah, so they have their own cider now.
They have their own Carmenin cider?
Yeah. What was that again?
I haven't heard of the company before. The Carmenin cider?
Carmenin Cider.
Well, that's a good thing to have. I wonder how much they're going to sign a contract.
Yeah. They're up and coming.
Thank you. Just a few quickie things on stuff to show that we're still going the wrong direction, and the leftists are fighting like crazy. There are still a few people who are trying to keep it on the straight and narrow. Candace Cameron Bure, remember her?
Yep.
She has said now, she has her own company, and she has said she will not feature same-sex couples, gay couples, in her movies, and she's been criticized by some people inside the industry. She's working as the Great American Family Chief Creative Officer. The company's called Great American Family, and she wants to put religion back into Christmas movies.
Good.
Her departure from Hallmark, she used to be with the Hallmark company. She left Hallmark as the network attempts to add more, quote, diversity to its lineup. Hallmark's got a film, the first original film to focus on a same-sex couple to be released in time for Christmas, called The Holiday Sitter. And when reporters asked if Carmen Bure's new channel will feature any LGBTQ storyline, she said no. I think the Great American Family will keep traditional marriage at the core. Well, she's been blasted by social media and some leftists
if
saying,
they don't like it, they can start their own network.
Or don't watch it. I mean, but who are you to tell other people that they shouldn't be able to watch what you don't want them to watch? The nerve of these people. I mean, really, that's just censorship from your own personal opinion. You can't do that.
Whole casting companies in Hollywood who won't hire white males anymore.
I know. Yeah, that's right. And so Beret, they called her disgusting. They're openly admitting their bigotry. I called this crap out years ago when Abbott was at Hallmark. Now they dumped him. LGBTQ isn't a trend. The networks are disgusting. You too, Candy. There's nothing untraditional about same-sex couples. Bigot. Yeah. I don't remember Jesus liking hypocrites like Candy, but be sure make your money, honey. You ride that prejudice wave all the way to the bank.
How is she a hypocrite? She's come right out and told you what she believes. How does that make her a hypocrite?
Absolutely. What
it's
they
the opposite.
do, they attack you with what they are. They
project.
Remember? I mean, that's how, and they get away with it. That's
always
how they do it.
Accuse the other side of what you are doing
before they catch you on it. So then you can't use it. You say, well, I'd just be repeating the same thing they said. I mean, they're so clever about this. Anyway, it's rude and hurtful to the people. They've called her a rude celebrity. She was on Dancing with the Stars. They said she was so rude she wouldn't even be part of our TikTok trend. Oh my God!
These people are such losers.
Oh, I know it. Anyway, and one more quick thing again about we're going the wrong direction. Disney has hosted a cultural journey for staff members featuring a quote two-spirit drag queen. This is Disney hosted a cultural journey celebrating Native American Heritage Month, featuring a, quote, two-spirit basket-weaving drag queen. The Native Americans and Allies Together with Vision, or NATV, a company-wide employee group, hosted the event. Screenshot of the private event tweeted by so-and-so and so-and-so, verified the source inside. Let's see, a cultural journey featured Getting Curious with Jonathan Van Ness. Geo Sokoma Neptune is a member of the Passamaquoddy tribe, a basket maker, drag queen, activist, educator, and two-spirit, an indigenous cultural, spiritual, gender role that holds the sacred space between masculine and feminine energies, a carrier of tradition and teacher of youths. Through their experiences, Geo will give a presentation on what it means to be two-spirit, being a designated master basket weaver, and their activism, which enables them to travel the world to educate about issues faced by indigenous people.
He likes Matthew.
We balance two polarities, two energies in our bodies, two energies in the same spiritual place. That's why two-spirit people exist. We bring them into balance. Disney has no comment about this cultural event.
Well, okay, you can laugh, but Little Big Man. Remember?
Little Big Man.
There was one in. There was an Indian,
and there was a crazy guy.
But he wasn't the crazy
and everything.
One.
And,
but there was an Indian who was both.
That's right too. That's right.
And they left him alone. They didn't mess with him.
Well, they also didn't mess with anybody who was crazy. If you acted nuts, they didn't want anything to do with you. They would let you live. But yeah, I remember the Little Big Man, and of course that was a true story. You know, I think. Sorry.
If anyone has not seen,
that's a
everyone
great
loved
movie.
Dances
Dustin
with Wolves.
Hoffman.
Little Big Man is a better movie than Dances with Wolves, and tells it with more humor and in a shorter time period.
When she's giving him the bath,
Faye Dunaway.
Song and
I'm telling you, that movie is
great
fantastic.
Movie. In fact, I wonder why that hasn't made a reoccurrence over the years. I haven't seen that in 20 years, probably. Well, play it back. Bring it back. Let it. It's timeless. It's a story of what happened in that year in the 1800s.
It may have some politically incorrect stuff in it.
That was a great movie. If you haven't seen Little Big Man.
And by the way, the point, and you talked about the humor and everything, the scene where he comes in there and sees that the U.S. Army has gone through the cavalry and destroyed the entire village of women and children. That is one of the most poignant scenes ever.
Yeah, it's a very powerful movie, and it is. There's a lot of funny parts. There are a lot of funny parts, but it's a powerful movie. Have you heard of a gender unicorn? Well, a California early education teacher has admitted using a gender unicorn to instruct little children on sexual attraction. She uses an age-appropriate gender unicorn to comment on sexuality and gender in the Sacramento City Unified District. Her name's McCrae. She says early childhood from 0 to 8 years old, kind of like from preschool to third grade, and the focus of this workshop is to provide you with a positive strategy to support transgender and gender nonconforming children.
This is grooming.
Children.
Grooming. To no one under the age of 12
Now, wait a minute, don't get ahead of me.
Talk to about sex.
Don't get ahead of me. The Gender Unicorn discusses sexuality, gender identity, gender expression, and romantic attraction.
Evil.
Other terms the educator claimed were pertinent to the age group included sexual orientation and agender. The woman was asked by one of the teachers where toddlers were too young for these conversations. She says, "I've done my research. I have my doctorate degree. Children are not too young at 5 years old.
I'm credentialed."
Children understand gender as early as 3. She said, "I thought this would be a great tool that you can use with your students. You can download them and you can talk to them about it. And of course, it's age appropriate. Even at this is a teachers union specialist on gender things for children. Even at 5 years old, you can ask them, are you a girl or a boy? And you explain that to them. Yes, you were born a girl or a boy, but you may not feel that way."
Oh, my God.
I swear to God.
Oh, my
She actually
God.
said this. There is a fine line between promoting understanding of transgenderism in older kids and adults and inculcating the cult among young children. The line is between free expression and grooming.
Yep.
Instead of being the gatekeeper against toxic fads in education, radical teacher activists are actively robbing America's young and vulnerable in their childhood innocence by obsessing over the dangerous gender ideology. What is worse is that such activism is being endorsed, encouraged, and sponsored by teachers' unions.
Oh, yeah.
This woman said she includes children's books discussing transgenderism in classrooms, such as I Am Jazz, to help kids understand the concept. There's also a book about nonconformity called Sparkle Boy, where they use glitter to make the book more tangible as they pass it around. Oh, God. You know, I don't know what's going on, but this can't be a good sign.
Betsy DeVos, who is the head of
Former education superintendent
Yes.
under Trump.
responded to the NEA. This NEA, this is the largest teachers union.
National Education.
Here's what they
Education.
tweeted.
Yeah.
Educators love their students and know better than anyone what they need to learn and to thrive.
No.
And Betsy DeVos wrote, "You misspelled parent."
Again, the teachers were saying, we're the experts, we have the degrees, let us teach
Butt
you.
out.
We know best what's best for your children. And everybody in the world, I know, is saying, no, you don't. You don't know what's best for my child.
I know.
Oh, my God, but where did they come up with this stuff? Where did this happen?
Narcissistic evilness is what this is. Narcissistic. And they've been told since childbirth that the sun shines out of their arse, and we have to believe, because they have a credential, we got to believe everything that comes out of their mouth.
And not only that, what bothers me is that now maybe things have changed, but I doubt it. When I was in graduate school, I did 4 years of college and 2 years at Arizona State and got an A average. I went to graduate school, got my master's in 10 months. And one of the reasons I did, I took a lot of courses, including a couple of courses that were gut courses out of the education college, because I knew how easy they were. Honest to God, I took a class, an education class on teaching children pros and cons, or yes and no's, or antithetical things like that. And I actually did a project once where I made a sign that said cat and a sign that said dog, and showed the difference between the two things to differentiate between. And I actually, it was a good class project. It was, again, everything's fine. Oh, Jesus. The education courses are the easiest in the entire country of all curricula. And they're the ones who think they know the most about your children? I mean, talk about irony of
I just so wish that my mother was still alive and have some teacher of her grandkids, great grandkids now, say, "I know more what's best for your child than you do." Oh, my God. The sunglasses would go on.
Yeah, I know. Well, again, the only good thing about Donald Trump last night, if he's running again, he made the point about saying, if I'm president again, no more of this boys using the girls' room. No more boys playing on girls' teams. I mean, those are the kinds of things he's got to say out loud, because everybody agrees with it. Everybody agrees with it. There are people who take a stand because they're so woke, they feel that it's the momentum that they have to kind of go along with the program, but nobody believes that. I mean, it's offensive to women. Anyway, one more.
Did you finally watch Dave Chappelle's opening monologue on SNL?
I didn't see the whole thing, but
the part about Trump?
No, I didn't see that.
He basically says, now you people in New York, here in New York, think the Trump era is over.
We played that, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
Thought about it. We didn't.
Have you got it?
Yeah, play
let's
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me 1 second, I'll pull it up.
All right. And while you're doing that, one more a local woke thing. A tenured professor at Valdosta State named Leslie Jones. She's a biology professor at Valdosta State and tenured. She was told how to change the way she teaches about sex and gender. What's she doing teaching about gender and sex anyway? She has a seminar called Cultural Construction of Gender, Diversity of Life Biology course. Diversity of life, my God, talk about woke. And she, one guy said, wait a minute now, one father called in and said, my daughter tells me you're teaching her about being woke, and I don't want you teaching that crap. And the professor says, I've been instructed to change the way I teach this class or they will kick me out of teaching the class. And so, and people are saying this is a violation of her First Amendment rights to academic freedom. And she's tenured and is saying, if I don't teach it the way they want me to teach this woke class on gender to college students, that they're going to transfer.
Who's they? Who's telling her?
Valdosta State.
Well,
the administration.
Don't they have the right?
I get.
They're
well,
a private institution.
I suppose
or
they
they
do.
A state
well,
institution?
they must take Valdosta State. That means they get tax money.
Well, she doesn't like it.
well,
She can go teach somewhere else.
Well, but again, but the point is that they can now. They're making the teachers be woke, whether they're even woke or not. It's even worse than we thought.
Well, what do you expect?
I know. Well,
they're
there you are.
teachers.
I know. I'm sorry.
What I've been railing about for 30 years.
Yeah. All right. Now, did we have a little Dave Chappelle action here, founder?
Sure do.
Okie dokie. Here's a little Dave action.
And I'm watching the news now, they're declaring the end of the Trump era. Now, okay, I can see how in New York you might believe this is the end of his era. I'm just being honest with you. I live in Ohio amongst the poor whites. A lot of you don't understand why Trump was so popular, but I get it, because I hear it every day. He's very loved. And the reason he's loved is because people in Ohio have never seen somebody like him. He's what I call an honest liar. Well, I'm not joking right now. He's an honest liar. That first debate, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a white male billionaire screaming at the top of his lungs, this whole system is rigged, he said. And across the stage was a white woman, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, sitting over there looking at him like, no, it's not. I said, now, wait a minute, bro. It's what he said. And the moderator said, well, Mr. Trump, if in fact the system is rigged, as you suggest, what would be your evidence? You remember what he said, bro? He said, I know the system is rigged because I use it. I said, God damn. And then he pulled out an Illuminati membership card and chopped a line of cocaine up and did it right into the podium. No one ever heard someone say something that true. And then Hillary Clinton tried to punch him in the taxes. She said, this man doesn't pay his taxes. He shot right back. That makes me smart. And then he said, if you want me to pay my taxes, then change the tax code. But I know you won't, because your friends and your donors enjoy the same tax breaks that I do. And with that, my friends, a star was born. No one had ever seen anything like that. No one had ever seen somebody come from inside of that house, outside, and tell all the commoners, we are doing everything that you think we are doing inside of that house. They just went right back in the house and started playing the game again.
Apparently, I think Jon Stewart was on reacting to Dave Chappelle from, was it Saturday Night Live? Was it past weekend? And he was saying, well, Dave Chappelle clearly was showing his bias and his anti-Jewish behavior, but I love him and I support his right to do it. And I thought, well, now wait a minute. I don't know what that was all about, but
well, the first half of the thing, he was going on about Jews in Hollywood and everything.
Overreacting.
He said the one thing you cannot say, no matter what you believe, you cannot say the phrase "the Jews."
The Jews, yeah.
No good has ever come.
You have to say a Jewish person. You can't even say, "Oh, my friend's a Jew." No, my friend's of the Jewish faith. I mean, this is just you can't saying the word sounds bad. I'm sorry. I mean, the poor Jews. I mean,
feel bad.
they even Jewish people can't say him, my friend, the Jew. Because it sounds bad. So anyway, we're totally
Jackie Mason could do it, but nobody else could.
One more bizarre little story that I teased earlier here, which I thought was sort of kind of awful. The name, the family of Brian Laundrie. You remember the former fugitive suspected of killing his girlfriend, Gabby Petito.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Brian Laundrie, who did kill her and admitted it in a suicide note, basically, killed himself in a creek environmental park in Florida after he took it on the lam at the invite and so forth. Well, on Jeopardy the other night, Brian Laundrie's parents were watching.
Oh, no.
And there was a clue, and they said it was tasteless. They are appalled. It concurs with all the comments on social media how distasteful it was. Here was the correct answer to the clue on Jeopardy. What are alligators? And the answer is, or the question, in 2021, fugitive Brian Laundrie ended his days in Florida's Myakatchee Creek area, home to these long and toothy critters.
Wow.
Can you believe it? They went out of their way to say what kind of animal ate Brian Laundrie when he killed himself after killing Gabby Petito? Basically. Holy crap.
Are there ratings in the shitter?
In 2021, fugitive Brian Laundrie ended his days in Florida's Myakatchee Creek area, home to these long and toothy critters. What are alligators? Right you are. Oh, my God.
How about if you're related to either one of them, you just say, honey, I'll be back in a second. And you get the keys and you get in your car and you drive 3,000 miles to Hollywood. You find whoever was responsible for that.
The producer and the writer and the staff and punch them right in the nose.
You put them in the trunk and you take them back to Alligator Alley.
Yeah, and say, here, have fun. I'll tie you up first. There were so many ways to get around this question without involving Brian Laundrie, one of them said.
Right.
No one from Jeopardy has reached out to apologize. You'd think they would after the public reaction, which was freaking horrible. But again, I mean, what's the point of that?
Their ratings must be down.
This Miami Balak girl.
No, I don't know if
got
it's
the
her.
PhD.
It could have been the guy who hates us.
No, I think she's still the host, but she didn't have anything to do with the question.
Ken Jennings may have done it.
Is he hosting? I thought she was doing it.
They're both doing it.
Oh, they're both doing it. I haven't watched it in 10 years.
I can't watch anymore.
I used to long. Well, for one thing, I was usually doing homework for graduate school. I used to watch them.
I used to live with the woman. We actually got you could have these little paddles, and you could hook it up where you could actually buzz in,
cool.
and we played it for like a week, and I was just waxing her.
I'll bet you're good at that. You and Wayne, no offense, used to do it, and with our kidney guy who passed away, the kidney disease. You did the. For God's sake, the intern that got fired. The only intern that ever got unpaid intern that got fired.
Not Russell. God,
I hate that we can't remember his name.
He ran the bar.
Yeah, he had his own restaurant up there in Kennesaw.
Barrett Parkway.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
I
can't remember names anymore.
I feel so bad.
It's not Russell.
No, it's close though. I almost had. I feel terrible. Anyway, you used to do a trivia contest, and Wayne No Offense used to host one too.
That's right.
And didn't you host it, or
no? I would
part
go
of
up
it
and help him.
Yeah, there you go.
And by help, I mean I'd go up there and drink and eat and make fun of the people who play it.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see. A couple of things again. I got a couple of quick crime things, but that are important enough to be mentioned. Only because I can see myself doing this, and now I'm going to, every once in a while, something like this happens to make me realize I have to be more careful. Here's the story. There's a trial going on, and a Fayetteville woman is accused of shooting a man after a hit-and-run crash in Clayton County. Her name is Hannah Payne, and she's in court, and by the way, I didn't know this was happening. Her lawyer has been held in contempt of court because he had a stroke over the weekend but didn't tell the judge. And so Monday morning when the court convenes and the lawyer's not there and the judge says, "Where's the lawyer?" And somebody said, "Well, he had a stroke, Your Honor." And I said, "He's in contempt for not telling us." So the lawyer's in contempt of court for having a stroke and not, by the way, I better call the judge.
What a stroke of bad luck.
Geez. So anyway, so that is kind of the background. But here's the story. And here's why I mentioned the story, because this sounds like something I would do, and I'll bet many of you also. This girl, Hannah, was charged with felony murder, malice murder, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, possession of a firearm, dum-de-dum. 62-year-old Kenneth Herring was the guy who died. Apparently, Herring's truck was involved, hit another vehicle, and she was there, and she called 911. Dispatchers told her to stay on the scene of the hit-and-run accident. She had nothing to do with it other than she showed up there when it happened. 20 minutes after they were there, the guy Herring left the scene. So Hannah said, well, I wonder if he's drunk or whatever, or he's going to hurt somebody else or trying to flee. So she followed him. She followed him in her car, blocked in his car with hers, got out to confront him with her gun. You can hear somebody in the background. I don't know where they picked somebody's phone or something. In the background, you can hear the girl saying, "Get out of your car, get out of your car." The two got into a fight. The gun went off. And she shot him in his abdomen and killed him.
Damn.
The lawyer says she had been provoked when they got into a fight. Also, when her truck hit her vehicle and she fired basically in self-defense. She was bruised up. He ripped her shirt. They were in a struggle. But they've accused her of felony murder and malice murder for chasing the guy when he left the scene of a what would turn out to be a hit and run. So she was trying to be a good Samaritan.
No.
Well,
you were told to stay there.
Right.
Your job is to stay there at the accident thing. If he takes off, that's no longer any of your business.
Right. Okay. What I'm saying is, I can see people doing this, saying, okay. I mean, and also, if you pull your gun out, you better damn well be sure that you can justify the reason you pulled your gun out. I mean,
you can't chase somebody down,
right.
Get out, pull a gun, tell them to get out of their car, because you had no right to tell them that either.
Even if there's a struggle and he went after you and the gun goes off, you still went after him.
You started it.
Right. So again, a reason we don't do crime stories for the.
I feel bad for her,
but this, she could go for the rest of her life.
They'll
this
make
is
a
a
deal.
death penalty case, malice murder, felony murder.
They'll make a deal.
Obviously, but still, she's going to go to prison.
But the family, if I was his family, I'd be pissed. I mean, if he's a criminal for doing hit and run, I understand that. But do you get killed for that?
And she's a kid, and she's 20 years. I mean, I don't think it says
she's
her
ballsy,
age, but she's
I'll
young.
for that. And that's dangerous for a woman to chase down a guy. You don't know what kind of person he is.
Yeah.
Maybe he's escaping because he's a convict or something.
I know. It's just, anyway.
That's the police's job to go after him after that.
I mentioned it just because it sounds like something that people who are trying to be law and order people and care about their, might do.
I don't know if I'd take off after him because, first of all, your car's damaged.
Well,
I don't know. You're in danger on the road now, too.
Well, no, her car wasn't damaged until she chased him and then pulled him over, and that's when they got into it. That's when apparently he ran into her, or their cars collided, and they got into a struggle. So, but again, if you chase him and you pull out a gun on an event, you better have a damn good reason for doing it, and know
she was acting like she was a police person, and
right.
You're not.
You don't get to do that. Anyway, just a word to the wise.
Even Sophia says, and we never agree, Sophia says, that's murder. It's moida.
Well, there you are. Two more quick things. Children, a village to raise a kid, my ass. It takes a family to raise it. It takes a mother and father. Two cases. Saturday night, Chick-fil-A, Vine City. A single shot from inside a vehicle, and a 21-year-old guy named Connie Pierre Lewis was dead. The next day, a 16-year-old kid, Gazunite, goes to the police headquarters and said he admitted, I was inside this car and I had a gun on me and I was negligently handling it and it went off accidentally, and so he killed the guy. 16-year-old kid fiddling with a gun. Yeah. Did mommy and daddy know that? Mommy and daddy together, I wonder.
Please.
Did they read stories to him when he was 5 years old to get him to love reading and education? Do they take him to the library? Do they know his teacher's name? Does he go to school? 16-year-old kid with a gun, fooling around with it and shot somebody accidentally. Well, guess where he's going to go? Well, probably juvie hall for 2 years, and he gets out again. But again, 16-year-old with a gun, fooling around in the car. One more thing, and again, here we go on trying to do the right thing. Sprouts Farmers Market, La Vista Road, about 5 p.m. the other day. Person got hit by a car. Cops showed up. They found a guy critically injured in the parking lot, took him to the hospital, but he died. The victim was a 31-year-old man, the manager at Hollywood Feed, a pet food store in that shopping center on La Vista Road. Okay, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. What happened was this gentleman's name is Spencer Fauerstein, or Fauerstein, I'm not sure. He was the man who was killed. 31 years old, manager of Hollywood Feed pet store. He saw a 16-year-old boy doing those racing, squealing donuts in the parking lot. So he went out to try to get the kid to stop doing it.
Yeah.
And the kid lost control, spinning around, and hit him with his car and killed him.
That sounds like Toco Hills. That sounds like over there at La Vista.
Sprouts Farmers Market, 4310
Hollywood.
La Vista Road.
It's a heavily Jewish
County.
neighborhood, too, and his name is...
Fauerstein, yeah, very possible. And the kid lost control doing the donuts, showing off, and he ran, hit and run. He took off. They found him wearing the same clothes, and they got his name was not released because he's 16. And again, the guy was saying, "Hey, you can't," and then bam. Doing donuts. So when you see those stories every weekend of the police cracking down and trying to take stop the people from doing that, somebody just died. 31-year-old man, just a family member, just a guy trying to say don't do donuts in the parking lot. Somebody could get bang, kill.
Every night I hear going up and down, and I don't understand why they don't have the police next to Pill Hill, because they're racing these cars that literally shake the building when they go by. You cannot drive those cars by that children's hospital.
Yeah.
How can they allow that to happen?
Johnson Ferry and whatever.
I feel like standing there in a corner with a shotgun and blowing their tires out when they go by. I just feel so angry that they're heading right for that children's hospital, and that car is so effing loud.
Yeah. Well, that's the fun. That's what they're doing it for.
And there used to be noise ordinances about
there still are.
They don't do anything anymore.
There are signs, noise ordinance, and I think it's 24 hours. It may just be 9 to
Your
PM
car
to
could
AM.
not be over when we were young.
Yeah.
Your car could not be over a certain. You couldn't put glass packs in your. You couldn't do any of that stuff. And now it's like it's the wild, wild west. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah. I had glass packs in that 55 Ford convertible Sunlighter that I had built that I thought I'd keep forever and got screwed by 2 different builders. It cost me $120,000.
By the way, the back of your car, I was behind you the other day.
Yeah.
That's funny. You were behind that school bus, and I kept beeping.
what the hell? I was a bastard. I'm going, it was him. I didn't do it.
Did a Wayne on you
Hey,
there.
bastard.
I'm sitting there, like, I've got nothing else to do, so I'm staring at the back of your car, and your back of your car looks like Darth Vader.
It's a mean looking.
We're going to go look at it afterwards. It's the helmet of Darth Vader.
Does kinda,
the back of it. I think they did it on purpose.
Yeah, I think they did too.
Speaking of weird things out in the parking lots.
Yes.
So I'm sitting there last night,
Yeah.
and I hear people talking in the parking lot all the time. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to be the guy looking out my window. What are the kids doing out there? But I kept hearing this, and I finally looked out. Everybody's gone. This is about midnight.
Yeah.
Everybody's gone. Everything's closed.
Yeah.
And there's 2 cars in
Quiet.
the parking lot. And there's 2 guys who are yelling at each other across the parking lot. Oh, well, this could be interesting. It could be a rumble. So, of course, I'm going to watch this show.
Yeah. This is midnight, we're saying?
It's about midnight. Also, he pops his trunk, and he starts pulling things out and putting them on his fists. And he throws a couple to his friend they have these oversized white boxing gloves, and they proceed for 30 minutes to dance around and knock the crap out of each other under the spotlight. Like
Outside your place where the restaurants
in the
are?
parking lot.
The parking lot?
Just wailing on each other. And I took film and put it on social media going, well, it's boxing night in Sandy Springs. Everybody,
So
brought
this
to you by
looks
Miller
like
Lite.
something they do? They show up
I've
on...
never seen it before.
For God's sakes. Why would they meet there? I mean,
It was under a light, like they're in a boxing ring, like the old gyms and stuff, and it was actually kind of cool to watch. Neither of them could box. It was like 2 drunks going at it.
Slap fighting.
But every once in a while, one would
Bum
connect,
fights.
and you could see them like dazed.
You know, I don't see... if you've ever been hit in the face,
Well, it hurts.
It's the reason that I never wanted to get into boxing, and I did as a kid. I had a friend of mine who said, "Hey, you want to do some?" I went over to I'll tell you, he lived on a farm, and his father let him drive a Jeep. And this is like we were like 13 or 14 years old. And I went over to his house for a boys' play day to play because he's got a farmer. He's got land. We play in the woods and stuff. And he would drive a tractor. I'm sitting there in the back of the tractor. He's driving it with the age of 13 or 14. They had a Jeep. He was driving a Jeep around the property. He was a cool guy to play with. And he said, "Hey, you want to do some boxing?" I got these boxing. I said, "Sure." First time I got hit in the face, I said, "Wait a minute, I don't like this." Wait, you hit me in the face, you bastard. This isn't fun.
My dad had the brilliant idea to toughen us up, me and my brother, when we were kids, he bought boxing gloves and put it on us. And we'd go in the basement, and he'd sit there on the chimney, and he'd sit there and go, "Okay, this is what you do. You hold your things like that." And it was fun for a little bit because I was still bigger than my brother. Yeah. Not anymore. Yeah. But I was still the age. But every once in a while, he would connect, and it felt like your brain dislodged for a second.
It does.
And I remember thinking, I'm not going to be doing this for much longer.
That's like The Accountant, where the father forced the two kids to fight each other to learn how to fight.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. By the way, I love that movie. That's a great movie.
That's a great movie.
Anyways, the Sandy Springs boxing night, like a Tuesday night boxing.
Tuesday night boxing.
Holy Crap at Sports coming up later. I think you already mentioned that. I do have a quick thing here. I thought this was interesting. There's a story this morning about how the Miami Dolphins football team have taken advantage of the way that their Hard Rock Stadium is faced. The Miami Dolphins sideline is in the shade, and the opposing sideline is in direct sunlight during the daytime.
What a shock.
And the difference is 30 degrees.
Yeah.
At one point, the temperature for the Miami Dolphins sideline is 82. The visitors was 102 degrees, and the Dolphins took home the victory. And they're saying that the architect design was deliberate.
Yes.
Of course, when they renovated it, to put the sun directly on the opponent's sideline. Isn't this where the opposing teams bring in coolers and
It's
fans
called home field advantage.
Yeah.
You want to tell you about that? Guess who else did that?
Who was
in the
it used to open up
1920s.
the end of the tunnel so the wind would blow the
That was
wrong
the
way?
Metrodome, and the Twins would do that.
Is that what it, yeah,
Well,
that's right. That's right.
The University of Texas did that in the 1920s and 30s,
Yeah.
where Texas would be in the shade. And this is how stupid it was. Notre Dame came there once, and the Texas coach, I think his name was Dana X. Bible, felt so sorry for the Notre Dame boys. He said, "You guys can come over here and stand next to us on our side," and Notre Dame beat them. They've never done that since.
Yeah, of course. But it was somebody who used to open up the tunnel. And a football, so they're trying to kick an extra point was, wind 40 miles an hour against your side.
It's called home field advantage.
Yeah, that's what it is. One more thing about sports, and again, Holy Crap at Sports, the best sportscast and podcast. The wife, who's the famous quarterback from Georgia, was in Detroit and now is in
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford. His wife, along with several other people, have come out and saying, you've got to get rid of artificial turf stadiums. More and more. Another player just got hurt.
Aaron Rodgers said it.
Aaron Rodgers also came out with it. But even Matthew Stafford's wife said, you people have to stop this now. I mean, more and more, and we all know it's true.
It's a concussion. Even I remember the old thing, going to Three Rivers in Pittsburgh.
Oh, man, the bouncing,
there was no padding underneath. It was concrete, and they put the turf over it.
Yeah.
There was no padding.
Yes.
They were literally landing on concrete every time.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of
artificial.
artificial
It's not much better
turf.
now.
Yeah, but again, even the stadiums that are open air that can grow grass.
Now,
they're saying,
Arizona
"My
has
God."
that thing where they actually wheel out the field, let it take
Which
sun.
they do a lot with soccer now. Like if you look at a lot of the stadiums over in Europe and stuff like that, they do that where they either bring it out or they have stuff that's very, very soft.
They need to go to that because we got a lot of stadiums.
People get hurt. That wide receiver, somebody just got tore up a knee or something. One of their famous JoJo somebody.
There was one in high school. There was this one school we played soccer against, Brandon Hall, and they had turf. And every time we played, everybody dreaded it because it just turf toe, your knees would. I mean, just it
you had to put stuff on your elbows because you take skin off when you fall.
Anyway, there's your
and that's just one game. Doing a whole season like that, I couldn't even imagine.
Complaining about turf brought to you by Atlanta Custom Closets. There's no turf in a closet.
No.
Go to closetpro.net. 404-255-0589. That's 404-255-0589 for Atlanta Custom Closets. I tell you what, if you have a girlfriend or a wife and they love closets, this is a great Christmas gift. It's have their closets fixed up for them.
Absolutely is. In fact, if you, I used to one little things I used to do that I thought was romantic, and of course it'll be.
It's not sexual, is it?
No, it turned out again is to leave little notes for the woman you love in her dresser drawer, or in the kitchen near the coffee maker, or in the bathroom by her sink or whatever.
Romantic.
Just little love notes or little thing.
Tampon box.
If it's her birthday, or like for Christmas, leave little notes about something, a surprise or whatever. And one of them could be a gift certificate to Atlanta Custom Closets, and put it right there in her when she goes in to get her shoes in the morning or something. Put it in a shoe thing or in a stocking thing, whatever, or panty drawer.
Do you do? So we didn't when we were young. Our parents didn't do the stocking thing. We hung stocking, but we didn't put anything in them.
Oh, we always did.
We never did. How about you, Flounder?
Yeah, my mom would put the most random shit in our stockings.
We always had the exact same thing.
I get like toothpaste, floss, and then suntan lotion. It was literally stuff she would get at Target just to fill the stockings. Yeah. But she would always give us peppermint patties. She's like, "You love those, don't you?" She's like, "No, I want fucking Snickers or Reese's."
I love York peppermint.
But I'd still always eat them. But she would always get us York peppermint patties.
I like those too.
But she would
When
always
they're cold,
have our
I keep them cold in the
stocking
refrigerator. Cold.
Same with Junior Mints.
Oh, we always had.
Junior Mints.
We always had, and Junior Mints too. Of course, you don't drop it in the guy's surgery when you're with Seinfeld. But we always had stock, and every single time, the last thing in it, when you could tell because of the size of it, was an orange. For some reason, my father would put an orange in the bottom of every side. The first thing went in there to the bottom was an orange, and then he'd fill it up with all kinds of stuff. But they were always,
Well,
and in fact, he would. I remember this back when we were kids, of course, and we would always wake up in the morning, and my brother and I were on the second story of our little ranch house. And so we'd always wake up on Christmas morning before anybody else in the neighborhood. We were the first lights on, and it would be 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and our stockings would be pinned to the foot of our bed, that Santa actually would deliver them. So our parents were hoping that when we woke up, we'd spend some time with the stocking so he wouldn't. No, I didn't. So we'd do that in 30 seconds and then start jumping up and down to wake up the whole family. But again, it was, stockings were a tradition, but they would hang them just for the look of it.
We'd hang. I still put some up. I got one a friend of mine made for me in San Diego that she called me Skeeter. Yeah. And I still hang that up. But your dad grew up in New England.
Yeah.
The Northeast.
Yeah.
I think we forget that generation, an orange was a treat.
Yeah, that's true.
In the middle of winter.
That's true also.
To get a fresh fruit in the middle of winter. Because here in the South, okay, we're next to Florida, we can get fruit a lot. But up in the Northeast, that must have been.
Well, he was born in 1918. He was a World War II vet, greatest generation. So I think that makes sense.
And everybody you see all those movies and TV shows, everybody who went down to Florida vacation always brought back a bag of oranges.
That's right. Fresh oranges or tangerines
for their friends,
or grapefruit. With my brother would, because he would spend the summers, the winters in Florida. My golf pro brother would spend the winter because he was a golf pro in New England, and then you go south and be a golf pro down there. And every time he came back, he'd bring us the oranges and the grapefruits and stuff, in the bag. So kind of a thing. Let's see. Oh, were you going to talk about gangs, or did you already do that?
Yeah, no. I talked about gangs. First, there's a guy named Arnell Hill. He's he's a religious rabble-rouser. He's a black supremacist and everything like that. But every once in a while, he makes a good point. And he made a good point about the Black Panther movie, which I kind of suppressed. I didn't think much of it at the time, but now I'm thinking of it again.
Really?
He goes, this is not the movie we needed right now as black people. Basically, the whole thing is all about women. And the Black Panther, when I was a kid in the 1960s, he was like the black Captain America. He was a strong male figure. And now they have replaced him. This is if you haven't seen the movie, you might want to turn away for a little bit. Yeah. They replaced him with a woman. And I said they can't do that, and that's what they've done. Well, they've set it up in the future that possibly it could go back to being a guy, but that's not. But it's all women, all strong women. The men are all secondary. And this was it was an equal society, the first movie. Now it's all women running everything. The powerful people are all women. The heroes are all women, basically. The men are all secondary. And they set up, and here's his point, they showed that a single mother raising the family is the perfect family, not just here in America, but in Wakanda.
The world.
And I go, wow. That's a black man noticing that. Yeah. That they've set up that it's perfectly okay for the mother to raise the kids by herself with no daddy around.
Who needs a man? Like a fish needs a bicycle.
Now, see, that's where I agree with them. Now, here's why I don't agree with them. Arnell Hill got in a fight with Jason Whitlock. You know Jason Whitlock.
Yeah, he's a black guy, columnist. Wasn't he in sports originally?
He's on Fox
He's a
now.
very well-known contributor on Fox and
Fox
a very esoteric, literate. I like.
He's not on the plantation. Let's put it that way.
Right, and he's very religious. He's very spiritual. He mentions things about working for God and so forth. So he's a old-fashioned conservative Christian.
So Arnell got in a fight with him. Arnell said more than 4,440 racial terror lynchings in the U.S. between 1877 and 1950. Talk about that. Ancestors of those killers still around today. Accountability. What do you want?
Go after him?
You want them rounded up? You
Get
want
his grandkid? Is that what you're saying?
You want the grandkids and great-grandkids to be rounded up? What do you want?
Strap 'em up
What are you doing to them? So Jason Whitlock said, Crips, Bloods, Vice Lords, and Gangsta disciples got more bodies on them in the last 2 years. We don't have to hunt for ancestors. Many of the killers are walking the streets today. But you keep worrying about a time you did not live in.
Oh my God! See, I love the guy. I mean, that to me is the common sense approach that Trump needs to take if he's going to be successful, and that I think more and more Hispanics and Spanish voters and so forth are taking that same
Hispanics and
attitude.
Asians are looking at what the media, what the pop culture of this country is trying to do to their families, is to try and destroy them like they destroyed the black nuclear family.
Yeah.
They're destroying because
they rely on the government.
The white nuclear family, and now they're going
victimhood.
and that you don't need daddy around. The government will take care of you.
Yeah.
And hopefully they're going to reject that. It's time for Ask the Kimmer.
Uh-oh. All
Ask
right.
the Kimmer.
I'm a little nervous about it. I didn't know if this
All right.
was
Kimmer.
Yeah.
Or one of our listeners asked, what part of the body always loses?
What part of the body always
loses? Flounder can be asked Flounder as well.
Your ass?
I was going to say I have no acetol. The medical emergency have no
You're
acetol.
both wrong.
Uh-oh. All right. And the answer
The
is...
part of the body that always loses is defeat.
God, Jesus. Dear Lord. So you got to call this Ask the Kimmer section.
Yes, I do. I'm going to drag you down with me.
Oh, I hope you have another one.
And I pulled Flounder in here as well to do this. Okay, here, we'll end with this one.
All right.
Maybe.
Yes.
Somebody tweeted out, this happened. Somewhere, I'm trying to find, it's a small town in California where a bear wandered into City Hall. And there's a photo of the bear standing outside. Should I go in? Should I not? And someone was complaining about this. And another Dragon said, you cannot put a bear on your state flag and then act surprised when it shows up for the town hall meeting.
It looks just like the state flag bear,
It does, too.
It's exactly the same pose and everything.
California Republic. I have one of
funny.
those flags.
Yeah.
It is a great flag. Oh, and
Outstanding.
here's a really sad thing. We really shouldn't make fun of this, but here's your story of the day. A man was killed when he fell into a vat of molten iron at the job site.
God.
He was moving a sample of iron from a furnace. He fell into the melting pot that was heated to more than 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The 39-year-old was immediately incinerated, according to the company.
Yeah.
Well, it was in Mapleton, Illinois. I forget it was Caterpillar that makes the big Caterpillar
Caterpillar
things.
Tractor Company.
So OSHA was sent in to investigate.
I'll bet they were.
They said that the whole place was lacking legally required guardrails and restraint systems. So there's no guardrails. He fell into it. All right. They routinely expose their employees to unprotected fall hazards. They're around 4 feet high, deep ceramic containers of superheated molten iron. The man had been at work for 9 days.
Oh my God!
And you fall in there. It's like, did you ever see the end of the Lord of the Rings when he fell into the lava and everything just goes whoosh?
Well, remember Game of Thrones when
Indiana Jones?
The brother of the little dragon girl wanted to be made king, so he says, "I'll make you king. Here's your gold," and poured melted gold over him to kill him.
So guess what OSHA did about this?
What did they do?
They fined Caterpillar $145,000.
Oh no, they'll never be able to survive that.
Hold on. Wait a minute. What about the family?
Oh, they're going to.
That's what I'm saying. That's going to be a civil lawsuit.
They'll get a little something extra there. I'm fairly sure.
They're going to be buying their own Caterpillar after that. All right. Okay, finally. Libs of TikTok exposed. It's a young black girl, dreadlocks and everything, and not unattractive at all.
All right.
She's mad about this whole abortion thing and all this stuff. She goes, I'm threatening. If abortion is banned, I will not have sex anymore. You will have to be my husband to have sex with me.
Oh, I can't believe
To
she's
which
cutting off all those other guys.
So which Katie said, who wants to tell her? And it seems like pro-choicers are now reinventing marriage.
Stop being a slut because you might have to get an abortion.
Got to put a ring on it.
Oh, my God.
All right, is it time for Bad Takes
No,
Theater?
I've still got my.
Oh,
I
I
got
didn't
a
know.
couple
Oh,
of
I'm
things
sorry, I
here.
didn't know.
We got birthdays in history, so we got another half hour.
my
No, I'll
God.
try to. I'll try to be.
Can you make me a
quicker.
sandwich? Let's go make a sandwich.
All right, we need to have a meeting then. If you want me to stop doing this.
No, you should do it. But
I'll try
good
to be
people that at
quicker.
least I've heard of.
Well, but again, I don't. When I look up lists, they have almost every member of every rock band, and I never mention any of those unless I know, something.
that's
So I
good,
clearly
thank God.
okay.
So based on like how many decades are in a sheet, do like
Well,
one
I
or
go
two per
famous
decade?
names. For example, Lisa Bonet. I wanted to have sex with Lisa Bonet many years ago.
Oh, that movie,
So don't
Angel
complain
Heart?
About,
Her
the
and
one
Mickey
with
Rourke are doing it.
Lisa Bonet is 55. Her first TV show,
Cosby Show.
was in St. Elsewhere. And by the way, in 1987, on Lisa Bonet's birthday, she was 20 years old. She married Lenny Kravitz on her birthday. Zoe Kravitz is the result. Yeah. Their marriage lasted 6 years, and now Lisa's married to Aquaman, Game of Thrones star Jason Momoa, who did the thing. Was she not married anymore?
They broke up a while
they
back.
did?
Oh, yeah.
That's too bad. Let's see, other birthdays. Dwight Gooden is 58, former famous Mets pitcher. Is he in the Hall of Fame or did a
No,
cocaine
never
do it?
will be.
No. Oksana Bayul, the little hottie figure skater.
I knew you'd find
Yeah,
her.
I used to have little hots for that little teeny little.
Wasn't she the
just
drunk in
muscle-on-
Connecticut?
She was a drunk driver and all kinds of shit. Apparently, 45 years old. Oksana is. Speaking of sports, NBA star Amari Stoudemire is 40 today. Marge Helgenberger, the redhead, famous actress, 64.
China Beach, wasn't it?
China Beach, among other things. Joe Isuzu, David Leisure, the guy, 72 years old.
Funny guy.
What was the line he did with Isuzu? You have my word on it. That's what it was. You have my word
I'm
on
Joe
it.
Isuzu.
And you have my word on it. Joanna Pettit. She was a skinny little hot blonde in a lot of those 70s movies. Joanna Pettit is 80. Clu Gulager, remember him? They did a lot of Western TV shows and movies.
Clu Gulager was in Ronald Reagan's last film, The Killers, with Lee Marvin.
Yeah, that's right.
Great film.
Great film. Clu Gulager is 94.
Wow.
And I put him in because you remember the name of Clu
Every
Gulager.
50s and 60s Western, Gunsmoke, Bonanza, all of them, he was in there.
Yeah. Maggie Gyllenhaal or Gyllenhaal or whatever. Is she the sister to the other guy?
She was the one that was in that movie with James Spader where he was the secretary,
Right.
or something, where he spanked her the whole time.
Right, yeah. Maggie is 45 today. Martha Plimpton. Her father is Keith Carradine. She's the blonde actress in a lot of those, like the Parent Time or something, or Parenthood. She's 52, Martha Plimpton. Also, one more, Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson is 29 today, and did you see the thing coming down on social media revealing his secret to dating all those hot babes?
He's got a
new one.
Number 9.
There's a whole big social media last 2 days. He's now dating Emily Ratajkowski, who I used to think
Ratajkowski.
was hot. I don't anymore.
Yeah, she got big feet.
And all the women are saying, okay, girls, if you're still in line to date Pete Davidson, hang in there. Your time is coming.
He'll get to you. The number 9, my friends. On this day in history, a couple things.
He must have, poor Ariana.
She was teeny. Gosh, she's one of the sexiest, prettiest girls I ever saw in showbiz singing too.
Remember Bill Clinton checking her out at was
yeah.
it Aretha's funeral?
Oh boy. 1915, on this day, Coca-Cola got a patent for its contorted Coke bottle. It's contoured Coke bottle, and it hit the shelves the next year, the famous girly-shaped Coke bottle. 1932, for the first time in the Peanuts comic strip, 1952, I'm sorry. First time Peanuts, we see Lucy holding the ball for Charlie Brown to kick, or try to kick, and she pulls it away.
I have a signed document.
Every year, she does the same thing.
It's a signed
you're supposed to
document.
hold
It must be true.
Yeah, 1957, number 32, Jim Brown sets an NFL season rushing record, 1,163 yards after only 8 games.
Great.
setting the record in 57, since been broken. And again, I went to junior high with Bobby Bell, who's a kid named Bobby Bell, whose father was the backfield coach at Syracuse University, where Jimmy Brown, number 44, used to play running back.
See, this may be the three steps from celebrity that he's been talking about.
And why I put the video today on Facebook showing the scorecard of me playing golf with Jimmy Brown and Lawrence Taylor. And by the way, I shot 78 that day at the Blue Monster on the day before the Super Bowl, when we went down to do the Super Bowl for when the Falcons were in the Super Bowl. And I have a signed autograph of Jim Brown and Lawrence Taylor.
You have a signed document.
I have a signed document, and I put the video on and the scorecard on, and I won $6 from Lawrence Taylor. It came out of his pocket. I put it the exact same way it was folded out of his pocket. I put on the shadow box, and I'll guarantee you it's got cocaine on it. I'll guarantee it. In fact, one day for fun, I should have it tested. Well, what's the point now? 1966. Am I having trouble for the? Here we go. 1966. Dr. Sam Shepard was found innocent for the second time on a charge of murdering his pregnant wife, Marilyn, 12 years earlier, 1958 or 54. It inspired the Harrison Ford movie and the 1963 TV series, The Fugitive.
A Jim Brown tie-in. It was in Cleveland. Was it Shaker Heights?
I think it was Shaker Heights.
Otto Graham, the great Cleveland quarterback, was his neighbor and friend and was part of the trial.
Right. I'd forgotten that.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten Otto Graham. One of the great
unsung quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah. And back when quarterback was a whole different thing than we're doing now. I mean, Otto Graham, you should Google him if you don't know him. 2000, Democrat hero and lecherous Bill Clinton became the first sitting president to visit Vietnam because it was safe by then. You'll recall how Bill Clinton got an Army big shot to get him out of the draft. And as soon as he got out of the draft and got his exemption, Bill Clinton was interviewed and talked about how much he loathed the military. I remember the phrase, loathed the military. That was 2000. Same day, 2017, Democrat hero Al Franken, senator from Minnesota, became the first member of Congress to be caught up in the bad behavior movement after a Los Angeles anchor chick said that Al Franken forcibly kissed her and groped her girly parts during a USO tour in 2006. Eventually, Franken had to resign. 1988, Robin Givens sues Mike Tyson for $150 million for libel. Tyson was quoted in a news story as saying Robin Givens was trying to steal all his money. You remember they got married. At the time of their very nasty and public split, Tyson fans called her a gold digger. She was labeled the most hated woman in America. She later withdrew her lawsuit when he forked over $10 million to call it a day. And the divorce was final. Anyway, some of the things happening in our world today.
Calling it a day. It's time for Bad Text
Texting Theater.
And so one right after the one we did yesterday. Or 2
Yep.
days ago, I guess.
All right,
it's another woman yelling at a guy.
Oh, I can't believe. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, woman thing. I'm sorry, I was going to mention before. Talking about the times where men are now being told they're secondary and you don't need a man to so and so. Saw a commercial last night for a man. Bill and his wife depend on their car for their business, and so when they had a problem, they pulled into so and so to get it fixed. And the woman was saying, "Well, how much is this going to be? How much?" She was forking over the money. She's going to take care of the thing. The guy's in the background, like and the woman's paying the bills for the car.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, wow.
And have you ever noticed in the commercials now where there actually is a man there?
Yeah.
He's always in the passenger
That's right.
seat.
Yeah.
I could, in my entire life, my dad sat in the passenger seat once.
Yeah.
That was a long trip, and he was feeling sleepy. He pulled over and said, "You drive for a while and let my mother drive while he took a nap." That's it.
Yeah. Right. Again, it's she's paying the bill. She's talking to the mechanic about. Okay,
This whole
fine.
culture is set up to
Fine.
screw us.
Yeah.
Basically.
I
I
know.
hate American pop culture. I hate the whole bit of it. But anyway,
And it's growing.
Yeah, it's all sitting there right in the passenger seat like a cuck. Anyway. The funny thing
I'll
is,
just watch.
every once in a while, I like to sit in the passenger seat because I like to look around. Because you're the driver, you don't get to. Everybody else is sightseeing.
No,
Everybody
I
else,
don't wanna-
you're driving up in the mountains and they can look out over the valleys, and you're like, "Fuck, I gotta watch the road."
I hate not driving. I don't want to be in a car if I'm not driving.
Every once in a while, I want to see. but
No,
not for
not
about
me.
15
Never.
minutes, and it's
I
like,
hate
okay,
it.
pull over.
I don't want ever be in the back seat of a car.
Oh, not in the back. Oh, hell no, I'm not in the back seat. I'm shotgun if anything.
No, it's got to get out of here.
Okay. Yeah, it's a woman yelling at her guy, and which one are you going to be?
You want the punchline, or
How unusual.
I don't care.
then I'll be the guy.
All right.
So there.
You haven't listened to a single word I've said, have you?
That's a really weird way to start a conversation. Took you a minute.
It's like I think we talked about the meme where the husband and wife are sitting together, and the husband finally is complaining. The wife's next to him, and he says, "Every single day for 27 years, you've been telling me all the things I've done wrong." And she says, 28. So there you are. Anyway, final thoughts, boys?
Yeah, Mark says that when he was young, he got oranges, figs, and dates
Figs and dates.
at Christmas.
Wow.
That was a treat. That was a
But we
real
always
treat.
got the orange in the bottom of the stocking.
Figs and dates
I
are
love
for...
it. I think I still
pigs.
have my stocking from 1952 or something.
Oh, I
too.
still got all my old stockings.
It's funny that Pete just had said the word cuck because an article
Cuckold,
just came
right?
up on Twitter that says cuckolding can be positive for some couples. Studies say.
Yeah,
for the women.
please. Yeah, for the chicks.
Although some guys get off on that.
No,
you know.
I can't even. I don't even want to think about that. God, talk about convicted for murder. Well, boys, have a great one. And I got a couple of kitty cat videos I'm going to put on Facebook shortly, and also some horsey stuff. And everything okay? We all good? Set to go? Thank you again for Venmo and PayPal. And PayPal is
Patreon.
really helpful. PayPal, and you can do Bing once and Bing Wang, and there you are. God bless America. Thank you. Jennifer, if you're watching, I love you, sweetie. And hoorah, I got to go. You're killing me. Look out. Hurt, man. Hoop.
Good night, Gracie.
Thank you. Oh.